So this video is going to be about Cersei's walk of atonement through the streets of King's Landing. For reference, I'm going to be using A Dance with Dragons, Cersei's final chapter in that book. She walks out of the Sept of Baelor and there is an enormous crowd gathered on the plaza. I mean, the streets are packed and Cersei is like, I can smell everything in King's Landing, all of the smells of the food and all of the rubbish and the sewage, but she loves the smell because she's been cooped up. She's glad to at least breathe fresh air. Interestingly, Cersei notes that she is standing on the exact same spot as where she stood when Ned Stark died. And she thinks to herself, that was not supposed to happen. She is forced to disrobe and it's about to begin. The thing to note is the route. We don't get a specific route, like she went down this street and then she turned the corner onto this street, but we know certain things from the references in the text. So I'm gonna guess which way she went. Now Cersei has to walk down these steps and they're very slippery, like they're made of marble, and the whole plaza is made of marble. When Cersei begins, she is on Visenya's high hill. That is where the Sept of Baelor is built. And she looks across the city at one of the other big hills, Aegon's high hill, and that is the Red Keep. And that is where she has to go. And anyone who's anybody in King's Landing has come out to see this spectacle. And Cersei remembers her father ordering their grandfather's mistress to do a walk of atonement through the streets of Lannisport. So Cersei knows this is going to be bad. It's going to be brutal. Everyone has come out to see this. They're jeering, they're shouting, they're throwing things. Septa Unella is right behind Cersei, and there's some guards, the poor fellows, members of the Faith of the Seven, who try and clear the path. Cersei is determined to have a stiff upper lip. She's like, no, I'm Tywin's daughter. I'm the lion here. You're not going to make me cry. And so she tries to put on a brave face. I am a lioness. I will not cringe for them. Cersei knows that there's nothing people love more than seeing the downfall of somebody they don't like. She's like, I expect to be yelled and jeered at. So she kind of braces herself. She eventually crosses the plaza and Cersei remarks, she thinks to herself, it seemed to take 100 years, but she finally does. And the marble gave way to cobblestones beneath her feet. Shops and stables and houses closed in all around them, and they began the descent of Visenya's hill. The going was slow here, the street was steep and narrow, the crowds jammed together tightly, and the poor fellows are having a tough job clearing the path for Cersei to walk along. Cersei is making her way slowly through the very densely packed streets of King's Landing. They're packed in sense of the crowds, but also the buildings. If you've ever been to the Shambles in York, you'll know like those old buildings are almost like falling on top of each other. It's very crowded and very dark, and Cersei loses sight of the Red Keep and she kind of panics for a second. It's blocked from her view. So from that, I take it as she's winding her way through these alleyways in the capital. She's not on like a main road per se. She's got to be really careful because she's walking through pure sewage and people are throwing all kinds of stuff at her. So Cersei ends up getting covered in all kinds of muck. And the floor, the ground, it's covered in sharp objects and rubbish, and it's slippery and dangerous. And she asks for a pair of sandals. And she's like, don't you know who I am? I am the queen. And they're like, yeah, you're not getting a pair of sandals. Cersei remarks that the shouting seemed louder here than on the plaza in these narrow streets. Perhaps because the mob was so much closer. And you get a sense of, not claustrophobia, but a sense of like, you are really crammed in and it's not a safe place for anybody to be. Cersei is completely vulnerable. She's naked. She doesn't have anybody there who is actually wanting to really protect her. And anything could happen. Somebody could lunge out with a weapon, who knows? At one point, Cersei looks back up Visenya's hill and she's like, damn, have I only come this short distance? She's like, I've got so much further to go. The guards begin to pull Cersei along, like yanking her, physically manhandling her and being like, come on, come on. When she makes it to the bottom of Visenya's hill, the slope gentled and the street began to widen, and Cersei could see the Red Keep again, shining crimson in the morning sun atop Aegon's high hill. I must keep walking, she thinks to herself, and she's leaving a trail of bloody footprints behind her. And I just want to mention that the route Cersei takes specifically avoids the area of Flea Bottom, which is where the poorest people in King's Landing live. It's probably just because they thought she might not make it out alive. Like, the people might rip our limb from limb, who knows? So they avoid that area. And this is why I think Cersei went the way she did. And because she's not going through Flea Bottom, all the residents of Flea Bottom, they've still turned out. They're all packed at the bottom of Aegon's High Hill. They're still there to come and watch this. Weirdly, Cersei sees people in the crowd that she remembers, that she recognises. Tywin, Ned Stark, Sansa. I mean, it's not actually them. Joffrey at one point, but she's seeing their faces. She's being haunted on this walk. And Cersei keeps falling as well. Like, Septa Unella is like, look, there's not much further to go. Cersei has made it to the bottom of Visenya's High Hill, through these narrow streets, and now she's at the bottom of Aegon's High Hill. This walk was brutal, and Cersei, she's nearly made it. And then she sees Maggie the Frog, and that's when the waterworks start. She can't hold it back. Cersei just bursts into tears. She says it's like acid on her cheek. All these memories came flooding back about the Valonqar and somebody younger and prettier coming to replace her. It's Cersei's worst nightmare, and it's notable that that is what is haunting her as she's approaching the Red Keep. She's trying to cover herself up, and at this point, Cersei kind of shoves herself past the guards, and she's stumbling, and she's basically crawling up the hill. And then she looks up and she realises, oh, the crowds have all gone, and she sees the gates of the Red Keep, and she knows she's made it home. So that is Cersei's walk of atonement. And the thing with Cersei that I think a lot of people forget is her legal troubles, shall we say, are not over. She does the walk of atonement because she admits to some crimes, but there are others that she vehemently denies. So in the books, Cersei still has a trial to face. This is just phase one.